Hi friends, Miss Kristi here, and I am so excited to be together again cooking in the kitchen. Today we are learning how to make a no-bake chocolate dip. Yum. Right now for me it's almost the new year, so happy new year. And this dip is the perfect little treat that you could have if maybe you're having a little get together or just a fun treat for New Year's Eve. It's a no-bake dip, so that means you don't have to cook anything. We don't use the microwave. We just throw a few ingredients in the blender and we end up with a dip that you can dump fruit into, pretzels, graham crackers, leftover sugar cookies, anything that you feel could use a little extra chocolatiness. My favorite is apple slices. We're gonna have fun making this together today, and I'm so glad you're here. Now, the first step to cooking and working in the kitchen is to wash our hands. While I wash my hands with soap and warm water for at least 20 seconds, these are the ingredients that you'll need to gather to cook along today. The ingredients you need are 1 avocado, 1/4 cup of real maple syrup, 1/3 cup unsweetened cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, 3 tablespoons of milk, and your dunkable food, whether that be fruit, pretzels, graham crackers. The supplies you need are a cutting board, a blender, a butter knife, a spoon, liquid measuring cup, one-third cup dry measuring cup, 1 tablespoon, one teaspoon, and a small bowl. Okay, great. My hands are clean and your hands are clean. We've gathered our ingredients and supplies, so let's get started making this no-bake chocolate dip. Like I said, for me it's almost New Year's Eve, and this is something that I'm gonna make and have it out on a table. It's just fun to dunk different things in. Like I said, my favorite is strawberries or apple slices. You could dip pretzels, graham crackers, anything that you think could use some more chocolate flavor. So again, this is just a fun little treat to make. You're gonna wanna, step 1 is take the top of your blender. So I'm gonna show you, this is what I'm making mine in, so I just have a different size blender. This is a small one, but this is the top of my blender. Yours may look something like this, but I want you to grab it and put it in front of you, take the top off, because that's where we're gonna mix everything before we blend it. This is super easy, we don't have to cook anything. So you've got your blender in front of you, your top, and the first thing we're gonna do is 3 tablespoons of milk. You can use any milk you want. So I'm actually using almond milk. You can use regular milk, soy milk, any type of milk, oat milk. We need a liquid in there to help blend it up. So we need 3 tablespoons. Grab your tablespoon, it says 1 TBSP, and we are gonna measure 3 tablespoons of milk and put it right into your top of your blender. So here's 1, 2, and 3. And then you can just set it off to the side. Once we blend it, if you need a little bit more, we can add a little bit more, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Next thing is your maple syrup. So grab your maple syrup, and it's gonna be helpful if it's real maple syrup. It just has a different flavor than kind of like a different maple syrup that you might use on pancakes. The real flavor helps. So if you have that, great. If not, use the other kinds. And we need our liquid measuring cup. So let me move this here. We need 1/4 cup of real maple syrup. So like I say, you wanna put your measuring cup flat on a surface so we get an even measure, and we're gonna measure it to the 1/4 line for 1/4 cup. Okay. And you can put your maple syrup to the side because we won't use that, and dump it right into your blender. Kind of give it a shake. Sometimes syrup can be sticky, so you want to get all the maple syrup in there. You can put your measuring cup to the side. We're done with that. Now we're gonna do our vanilla extract, and we need 1 teaspoon. So you're gonna grab your 1 teaspoon, it's the smaller one, it says 1 TSP, and then your vanilla extract. Your vanilla extract is probably in a small bottle. Mine's just in here to make it easier to see, but we need to measure 1 teaspoon. So you're just gonna pour it in or scoop it out and right into the blender. And you can put that aside because you won't need that again. All right, so this is kind of our liquid ingredients. We want to do that first, and now we're going to start adding the cocoa powder, and then we'll go from there. So grab your 1/3 dry measuring cup, and we need 1/3 cup of unsweetened cocoa powder. So just kind of scoop it out to the best of your ability. If it's in a container and you can't get your measuring cup in there, you can just take a spoon and scoop it into your measuring cup like this. That makes it kind of easier sometimes too, just depending on what your container might look like. But as long as we get 1/3 cup in our measuring cup, that's the goal. So you can scoop it in if you need to. And then it just goes right in the blender. Everything goes in the blender today. Super simple, fun snack to make. Put your cocoa powder to the side. You don't need that anymore, or the measuring cup. Now, the next and final step is to get our avocado into our blender. So we need to peel it and do a couple things. If you're thinking to yourself, that's weird that we're putting an avocado in this, trust me, you don't taste it at all. It just gives it a creamy texture. So if you're not quite sure, I just challenge you to try this recipe. If you love avocados, awesome. This is a way to eat it. If not, again, you're not gonna really taste it. So you should just definitely trust me and give it a try. But we need to cut this and peel it before we put it into our blender. So this is why we need a cutting board today. And there is a couple different ways you can cut an avocado. I'm just gonna show you an easy way. If you know how to cut it and you have a different way to do it, by all means, as long as we just slice it in half, that's the goal. So I'm just gonna hold 2 fingers on top here because I'm using a butter knife so it's not super sharp. And I'm just going to kind of cut down one side to get to the bottom. You might have to tilt it a little bit. And then I'm just gonna turn it around and I'm gonna cut the other side, just like that. So kind of start at the top and just go straight down to the bottom. All right. Now all I do is just twist it. Like you're gonna open an Oreo or something, you're just gonna twist it, and then it should come open like this. Take your spoon that we need, and we need to get this pit out because we do not want to blend that. We just want the avocado, we don't want the middle. So all you do for that, again, there's a couple different ways, but this is an easy way. You're just gonna take your spoon and kind of go around it a little bit. And that way you can just scoop it up. Because we don't need that, you can just toss it in the garbage. I'm just gonna set mine over here for now. And there we go. Now we can put our avocado into our blender. The next thing, so you also learned how to do an avocado today, how to cut and scoop an avocado. You're gonna wanna take your spoon and just kind of lift up the sides here because we're really just scooping out what's in the middle. We don't wanna use the peel, we just want the avocado in the inside. Kind of scoop it out and just plop it right into the top of your blender. We want the other side too. We're gonna use the whole avocado. So same thing, I'm kind of just taking the side of my spoon and going in between like the skin of it and going right underneath it. And if this is the first time you've ever done it, it might be a little bit more difficult, but you know what? As we learn how to cook, we get better and better. So as long as you're getting some avocado into the blender, that's the big goal. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to look like mine, as long as it gets in there. All right, and then you're done with your avocado peel. You can set that to the side. From here, I'm just gonna grab my spoon and kind of just push everything to the bottom. You really do, when you blend things, want like a liquid to cover it to the top. So I'm kind of just pre-mixing it a little bit just to kind of help my blender out. If you have a blade in the bottom of your blender, like this one here, if we use this, there's a blade in the bottom. You just wanna be really careful not to touch it. That's why I'm using a spoon, just kind of mixing it around. All right, I'll set that down. Now we get to blend it, and this is basically the entire snack, the entire recipe. So you're gonna wanna put the top on your blender. So mine, again, I just have to screw it on. Yours, you might just need to pop on the top. And get your blender bottom in front of you. and we need to plug it in, right? So plug your blender in, that's important if it's not already plugged in, and put the bottom of your blender or the top together so it's ready to blend. And now, how long do we blend this? Let's talk about it. My blender is going to blend it for a minute. That's just how my blender works. I'm gonna push a button and it's gonna blend for a minute. For yours, you just wanna push the button to blend and keep an eye on it. So you could set a timer for a minute if that makes it easier and you just want a nice even number to blend for. Or you can just kind of watch it. We just wanna make sure all the ingredients are getting mixed together. The avocado needs to get completely mixed so we don't wanna see any little green pieces. That's the goal. So this is just something that you can learn to do and to test it out. But let's start with a minute for mine and then we'll see how it looks. And then we just basically put it in our bowl and we're done. All right, so it has been about a minute and mine has blended. I'm gonna unplug my blender just because whenever I work with it, I like for it to be off so it doesn't accidentally go on. So I unplugged my blender and I'm just gonna take a look at it and see what it looks like. Again, the goal is to have it mixed into like a creamy texture. It kind of looks like pudding a little bit, but if you take your top off and you see that it has a little, you can maybe see a little bit of the avocado, then we'll just blend it a little bit more. So we'll do this together. Let's take mine off and see if it needs to be mixed anymore. So you can kind of see, it does look like chocolate pudding a little bit. It smells really good. And that was like the perfect amount of time for mine. If you open your top again and you see maybe a little bit of avocado or cocoa powder's not completely blended, just put the top back on, plug your blender back in and blend it a little bit longer. Like I said, you can always add a little bit more milk, so maybe another tablespoon if it's too thick. So that's kind of where you can make those decisions. But this is the consistency we're looking for, where it's just kind of like a chocolate pudding. It's all mixed together. I don't see any avocado. So now we just get to put it in a bowl and be done. All right, so let me move some stuff to the side here. I'm going to grab the small bowl that we talked about in our supply list. And basically I'm just gonna take my spoon and we're gonna spoon it into our bowl. And it smells really good. I have done this recipe a few times in the last couple weeks and my family really likes it. Not everyone in my family is not everyone in my house is a fan of avocados, but they even like this. So like I said, you're not sure about the avocado, trust me, you can't taste it. It just makes it creamy and oh so yummy. But here we have it, is our no bake. We didn't have to bake anything, didn't use our oven, didn't microwave anything. Our no bake chocolate dip. Yum. So I do hope you try and make this. It was super simple, only a couple ingredients. And then you can choose to dunk into it whatever you would like. I just have a little plate here. Like I said, I've got some strawberries, apple slices. These are the sugar cookies we made a few days ago. So you could dunk that into it. You can just kind of pop it on a plate and just dunk away anything that you feel could use a little extra chocolatey flavor. So again, I do hope you try and make this or try and make it again. And when you do, let me know how it goes. You can leave me a comment. Let me know if you have any questions. You can even send me a picture of your dip and what you decided to dunk into it. I would love to get to see that. And maybe we'll get to share it on next week's episode. Now, speaking of next week, on next week's episode, which is episode 19, we are learning how to make English muffin French toast. Yum. The thing about French toast sometimes I feel is the bread can get a little bit soft. So when we use an English muffin for the bread, it turns out so good. It's a great breakfast to try and it stays a little bit crunchy and the holes in the English muffin hold the butter and the syrup perfectly. In order to cook along and make that English muffin French toast, these are the ingredients that you'll need to have in your kitchen for next week. 1 egg, half a cup of milk, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1/8 of teaspoon cinnamon, 2 English muffins, cooking spray, and maple syrup, which is optional if you want to put it on top. Well, friends, our time together today is almost over. It went by so fast because this was such a quick snack. But I do hope you've enjoyed learning how to make this no-bake chocolate dip. I know I had fun, and I already can't wait to cook together again next time. But before you say goodbye to this episode, make sure to click subscribe if you haven't already. You just have to click the little picture of me in the corner. That way you don't miss next week's episode. It'll be out Friday, and I'll see you then. Bye, friends.